So I've got a series of questions here. There's only about 40, 50.
Oh, all right.
No problem. Okay, so I know a bit about your story, but if you could, what originally got you interested in the business, and then also let's maybe get a little bit of your background too. So your background, and then what got you interested in the business?
Okay. Well, I mean, my background is not really restaurant related. You know, I'm a senior manager for a robotics company. You know, we design and build large scale automation systems that go around the world. So, but I did start out working in the food service as a younger person.
Okay.
Until you know, my wife got pregnant, and then we moved on. And
what kind of concept?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yep. Pizza Hut.
Okay.
You know, back when we had huts.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day when we had, we actually used to go and wait on tables. You know,
Yeah.
and we had buffets and the Book It program, and you know, all those things. So I started there as a young kid, 15 years old, as a dishwasher, and then I moved on soon after that to just a cook, a line cook. And then a delivery driver, delivery supervisor, cook supervisor, assistant manager, and then you know, over the years, you know, that's how I escalated within that company.
Sure.
And then I ended up leaving because you know, my wife got pregnant, I need insurance and all that. So,
Yeah.
So then years later, you know, my wife is a licensed social worker. And then she was also, prior to that, she got her license as a cosmetologist. So she did that for some years, went back to school, got her degree in social working, then did that for some years, then went back to doing hair again. So when she went back to doing hair, we had rented a little unit for her to use and open her hair salon business. And then within a year or so, a building became available for sale, 2 doors down.
This is in Richmond, right?
This is in Richmond. So that when that building became available for sale, we ended up purchasing it. I went in and did all the renovations, and we closed on that building on February 1st, 2020. And then COVID hit. March
Immediately.
2020.
Yeah.
So essentially what that ended up doing was it opened up a lot of available time for me to work on the building, because it was a complete demo gut job, you know, just like this building, similar to this building. So anyway, we got through that. We launched that business in August of 2020, and then as the years went on, a couple of years, she got busy, and then we were looking at expanding that business, and then the building next door became available. So that's what I was saying, we were going to look at possibly connecting those two buildings and put a breezeway in.
Right.
And the logistics of that didn't end up working out because the city water and sewer were going between the two buildings. So we had a choice to either sell it or lease it out or do something different. So that's when I came up with the idea of opening up a drive-through restaurant of some sort. At the time, we hadn't landed on coffee.
Oh, you still hadn't landed at that point.
Nope,
So
hadn't
you
landed
were
on
going to
coffee.
develop it as a restaurant.
Just going to develop it as a space.
The QSR kind of thing. Yeah.
QSR space. So then I submitted my plans to the city, and they came back and said immediately, your lot width has to be a minimum of 100. We were only 80, and you need to have 2 lanes for drive-through for emergency responders. They don't want to be locked into 1 lane. So I had to go through the process of getting a variance with the city. It took quite a bit of time and effort to get them to approve us using the lot as an 80-foot wide lot instead of 100, which is the minimum for the drive-through. So once I got that approved, then we had to essentially tear the building down and rebuild a new building far enough over to create the 2 lanes for the drive-through. So once I actually had completed the construction of the building in its entirety, had a drive-through window in, had the whole deal. And then I was sitting in a drive-through line at one time, and I felt that the local business needed some competition, and it was a coffee business.
Yeah.
And it was the only coffee business in town. So I thought, well, we should get into coffee.
And you were going there, you were waiting in line.
Yeah,
you
waiting
were
in
seeing
line.
it, just kind of like as a neighbor, as a customer.
Yeah. But as an opportunity.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
thought we could use another one of these in town, right? So then I got moving down the path of doing a coffee shop. And at the time I thought, I could do this on my own, right? I could develop all my own recipes. And then as time went on, I realized that there's a lot to it. You know, it's not just a simple, you're not just pouring coffee in a cup. You know, there's a lot to it. So I started looking into the franchise model. And then I looked in our local area at what other franchises were already up and running. And then I actually went to the New Baltimore BIGGBY store and I sat in there.
Kathy and Jim.
Yeah, I didn't know Kathy or Jim at the time.
There's Kathy right there.
Yep. I sat in there for maybe an hour and I watched the way that it worked and the people coming and going and how friendly everybody was. And I thought, this is it.
They're great.
Yeah. This is what I want. I want to move forward with BIGGBY. So then I started that process. I had that call with Bob, and the initial call with Bob, and then I started the application process, and then started to secure the funding for all the equipment and the design, and we got all the design plans done. And at that time, it was pretty easy with the city because I already had a completed building.
Right.
And all I had to do was drop in a business.
Yeah, right.
And luckily, the layout that I had was feasible for the way that we flow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't have to do any modifications at all.
Oh, that's great. So from the time you talked with Bob Perry, yeah, but from the time you talked to Bob to the day you were open, how long was that?
Well, I talked to Bob early 23.
Okay. We opened in
And we opened in January 30th of 24.
pretty quick.
So
Yeah.
it took the time to get through the design. I had to get the city approvals and then do the build out. And then I was done by November of 24 or 23.
23.
We were done, ready to open in November of 23. But we pushed it into the next year, into January, just because we had so much going on between November and December, and we just didn't feel like it was a good time. So we pushed the opening. We could have been opening sooner had we really wanted to.
Well, let's before we go too deep into the opening of the business and so on, I just want to get a little bit more about your background. Did you grow up here in Michigan?
I grew up in Port Huron.
Port Huron.
Born and raised right here.
Oh, cool.
Right here in Port Huron.
Cool place to grow up.
Graduated from Port Huron Northern High School. And then we moved down to the Richmond area back when I first got into the robotics business because the company I'd worked for was located there.
Got it.
It was located in Baltimore, so it was a lot closer. I was driving.
Was robotics always a thing for you? Like you were?
No, I
No, you just happened to be super smart. That's all.
no.
This
Yeah.
robotics thing was easy.
Yeah, no, my stepfather, his brother, was a machine builder, machine tool. And, my stepfather said, hey, he's having a baby. He needs to, get a job with some insurance. So my stepfather, my uncle, he got me into the machine tool trade.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
That's right. He got me into the machine tool trade as a pipe fitter. So I
Okay.
went in and started as a pipe fitter apprentice. And then very soon after, I realized that the machine builders made more money. So I was like, well, I want to do that. So I moved over as a machine builder. And then, and this was in robotics. I started at a robotics company right off the get.
Okay.
And worked there, until 2012.
So you still work there?
I moved to a different robotics company. I've been in the same trade
Got it.
since '93.
Got it.
So,
Do it a long time.
Yeah, 33 years. Been doing robotics. So anyway, we were doing the machine tool, machine builder, then I moved into machine builder supervisor, and then a project engineer, then a project manager throughout the years. And then that's what I'm still doing.
Okay.
I'm still in the project management side of it. So.
And then all the while you were doing GC work, or when did that start?
Well, that's
Was that for the building
yeah,
in Richmond, or?
No, I mean I've been doing residential construction for
Okay.
a long time.
Okay.
You know, I put addition on my home. I built pole barns. I put addition on the hair salon.
Sure.
I was doing a lot.
Were you doing work for other people too, or is it just
No,
your own
no,
work?
I've always been private.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've always been private. But in our trade, the robotics trade that I'm in, we also do turnkey installations. So we design, build turnkey automation systems, and we install them into automotive plants. And that has the base. It's more of a commercial, you know, electrical, mechanical, pipe fitting environment. But it relates to the commercial restaurant space very closely.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of working with 480 here, we're working with 220. You know,
Right.
it's very similar from that aspect.
Okay, so you got into the robotics business out of necessity.
Right.
And happened to, you're there now, what, 33 years later, still in that business.
Yeah.
Your wife owns and still owns and operates the hair salon?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and that's in Richmond.
Yep.
The BIGGBY in Richmond is opened in January of '94.
24.
Tw-
24. Yeah.
Thanks.
That'd be 495. Yeah. January.
January of 24.
24.
And so you've been at it now for better part of a little over 2 years,
Yeah.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So far, it's going really well. We in Richmond, it's slowly over time. It's you know, we're gaining more and more regulars. Same with this location. We have actually a board at both locations where we have. I think you'll be able to see it back there. We got sticky notes all over people's names, and it's mostly people that have drinks that are not your typical.
Unusual,
Yeah,
sure.
they're custom drinks, right? And so they can come through and say their name, and you know, we already have the recipe right there for the drink, and it's because you go from barista to barista, you know, different people entering that drink. You want to make sure it's consistent for that customer. But that's where we're growing a larger following, I think, every month, you know, at both locations. From that aspect, I think it's doing really well. I really had no complaints at all. I think the support that we get from the home office has been really good. The IT support, you know, sometimes we'll have something that'll happen. You know, a card reader will quit working or something.
Yeah.
We'll have to call and they'll log in and they'll have that thing fixed in minutes. You know, I mean, it's amazing how fast.
That's
they
good
are.
to hear. Yeah.
You know, and even Michelle down pushing out our shirts and our hats and our cups, and
Doing it.
she's freaky fast too. So it's, yeah,
That's good to
It's
hear.
been really well. No issues.
How is the business different than how you expected it to be? Like, if you can rewind the clock, think of what you were dreaming it would be at one point when you committed to do it. How's it different than that? Your first thoughts?
That's a good question. I think maybe just the how would it be different than what I initially thought? I think I pretty much knew how it was going to be. There hasn't been a lot that I think has been a lot different. I think from a challenge aspect, of course, it would be maybe just the balance, the work-life balance, and you know, just we're open 7 days a week, right? And it's 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So you got to stay engaged. You know, you have to be engaged. You want to make sure your store's running effectively and efficiently, and you don't want anything ever to break down. If it does break down, you want it fixed immediately. You know what I mean? So I think from the aspect of, you know, having a good backup plan, I wasn't prepared at first to have a backup plan. like I thought, I'll be able to go on vacation for a week or something, which I can. I just need a backup plan. I
Sure.
need somebody that's reliable and trustworthy that I can call to say, hey, I need you to go in there and, fix this, or
Right.
fix that, or and not many things break very often, but when they do, it's like if the air conditioning goes down,
Right.
it's 911, right? We
Right.
can't have no air conditioning.
Right, right.
If our water filter backs up to the point where we're not getting water, there's things like that can happen.
Yeah.
That you need to be prepared and ready for when it happens.
What? So how much time does the BIGGBY component of your business take? You've got your engineering job.
Yeah.
Are you still building, or do you have other projects going, or is that pretty much this?
BIGGBY projects
Or just
at work?
the construction, the GC work?
No, right now I'm done. Well, other than finishing
This suite here.
suite here.
So how much does BIGGBY take for you right now?
Throughout the week, well, I have a strong team.
Yeah.
And I've built that team over the last 2.5 years. I have our store manager at Richmond is also the manager. She's our senior manager, is what we call her. And we have a manager here as well. And then we have assistant managers, we have shift leads. We have a team of people that can support me. And, from that aspect, I don't have to be involved in the day-to-day, as far as making drinks and things of that nature.
Right.
I could certainly come in here and do it
Right.
if I needed to, and I
Right.
would. But I would say I stay engaged. I'm engaged 24/7. I mean, I get texts at all hours of the day, every day of the week, and I'm there to support as I'm needed. But I deal with the payroll. I deal with I help deal with the scheduling, hiring. Certainly, I do all the maintenance.
Oh, so you're doing a lot of the hiring and
Yeah, at this store, I'm still doing the hiring. As far as the advertising on Indeed, I do all the social media, the Facebook advertisements, the Google AdWords. I deal with all that. I do all the maintenance. Anything that breaks, I'm the one that's going to fix it.
Sure.
Inside and outside, I deal with that. I do the snow plowing,
You do?
Yeah, I'm plowing my truck. So, I'm plowing here, my hair salon, our house, the other BIGGBY, and then there's a big cost savings there. Yeah,
There is. Big,
so all I got to do is get up at 3 a.m. if there's
That's
snow
it.
and push it, and then
That's all.
and then go to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm.
Okay, so you're you're doing a lot of the back end management.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah, payroll. Okay.
I'm doing the payroll.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay, all right. Looking back, it's kind of a offshoot of the previous question, but looking back, what was the hardest part in terms of getting the businesses open and successful?
Well, for Richmond, it would have been just getting through the permits. Once our permits were approved, because it was a unique situation. Because the lot width wasn't wide enough for a drive-through. It wasn't zoned for a drive-through. The building needed more space for a drive-through even after we got the zoning approved to have a drive-through at all.
Right.
But for that location, I think it would be working with the city and getting the permits. And they were great. The city, I had no issue with. It was just they were very. They dotted their I's.
They're doing their job.
Crossed their T's. They
Right.
they follow their rules and regulations, and
Right.
we had to follow them as well. But once we got the permits approved, it was go time, and we got it done. At this location, it's because it was our second location. It was much easier.
Yeah.
I didn't have to deal with that. This was already zoned for a drive-through. I already had drive-through. I had 6 drive-throughs.
Yeah,
at
6
one time.
drive-throughs. That's amazing.
Yeah. So to stick one on the end of the building was super simple.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And you own both your properties.
Yep.
Talk about that for a second. I assume that's important. You've done 2 of them that way now.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Well,
Why do you do it that way?
I mean, I think long term, there's the financial reward, of owning. Like, why am I going to pay for somebody's mortgage, when I
Right.
can pay my own mortgage,
Right.
and 20, 30 years or whatever, you know, if I want to sell it, I could. And if I want to keep it and pass it on to my children, I could do that. You know, I have that option, you know. And long term, there's the financial return.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason I've purchased the properties. It's more risk, certainly more risk, but that drives me more to make it even more successful.
Yeah.
It has to be successful.
Yeah.
It has to happen, and it will happen. So whether I have to advertise 24/7 in the whole state of Michigan. You
Get
know,
out and dance out on the street in
if
a
I
cup
gotta be
costume.
spinning boards out on Pine Grove, I'll do it.
My kids and I play a lot of. My little ones like to play poker. They've got a phrase. It says, "Scared money don't make money."
Yeah, that's true.
And it is riskier to do this kind of a project.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you own it, and it's a different approach. We've never owned real estate. We've always leased.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to do this exactly how you wanted to do it too.
Right.
And that I love that part of
Yeah.
it. Right. Like you were saying how you ended up laying these curbs in.
Yeah, I don't need nobody's approval for anything.
Right.
You know, I don't have anybody looking over me. I don't have anybody checking in on me. You know, nobody for approval.
Right.
You know, I do. If I think it's the right decision, I'm doing it.
That's
you know,
awesome.
and, unless it's a reason I have to go to the city to pull a permit, you know, it's mine. I can change the siding if I want. I can change the color. I can do anything I want. So.
Well, you did nice. It's really nice. It's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like it. All right, so let's see. Moving into my, what has been your most effective way of getting new customers and then keeping them?
Well, social media. I mean, so far, what I can quantify is social media, because what I'm able to do is go into a brand folder and create coupons. And I can go to the coupon code generator, I can create a QR code, I can stick it on Facebook, and I can do different things with it. I can boost it, I can share it onto a local page, and I've done that a lot. I've done a lot of testing.
Are you tracking their success?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm tracking how well a boost does in a certain area, how well sharing it to just a local Facebook page does, and I'm creating different QR codes, and I'm able to see the scans and the FRC report and see what's working, what's not working, what I'm getting my best return for.
Give me some examples of things that have really worked.
The buy one get one free Wednesdays from 12 to close. You know, in Richmond we started out, we were open to close, right? And then we found it was because you're busier from 6 to 12, right? That's your peak hours for coffee. So here we did a little different. We didn't apply the BOGO during the peak hours because we didn't want to slow down the line, because there's people that are trying to get to work. And BOGO certainly does take longer because everybody that's coming through is getting 2 drinks or 4 drinks or 6 drinks. So we applied that to the 12 to close here, and it's been great. I mean, we're still doing big numbers on Wednesday, even 6 months after we've opened. Our BOGO numbers from 12 to close are, they're bigger numbers for sure.
Good.
And people are they're accustomed to it now. They know, oh, it's Wednesday. It's 12 o'clock. I got to go to BIGGBY and get my buy one get one free. But yeah, that's worked well. And at first when we launched, we had it out there on social media. But then as time went on, I had to push it more too onto Facebook and onto just our local pages. And I've done studies with that. Our $1 Monday 16-ounce hot coffee, we pushed that pretty hard too, and I can see the results because we got a QR code that we scan for everybody that comes through.
So how many redemptions on something like that would you see?
What, on the $1 or on the BOGO?
On both, I guess, just to give people an idea.
BOGO on Wednesdays, we're seeing somewhere between 200 and 250 cups for just the BOGO.
It's a lot.
Yeah. We
that is a lot.
Our second day opening here, we were shy of 1,000. It was 960, I think, somewhere in the area of 960 cups on day 2, which was our BOGO day. And we were completely shocked. We didn't expect that.
That's a lot.
That is a
You're-
lot of cups.
Yeah, you're so busy you can't think.
Yeah, it was just a constant all day.
I remember
you know.
seeing pictures of it. I don't know if you sent them. Somebody sent them to me. It was cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful.
And then on like the Monday dollar off, how many of those do you expect to see?
It varies. It's sometimes between 20 and 40.
Okay.
You know, it's not a huge number, but I think what I'm trying to, we're trying to get people to come in and see the menu. We're trying
Right.
to get them in. They come in, they pay the $1, they can check out our menu, they can see what's on it.
Right.
And what other options, and they might think, I'll come back later in the week and get that.
Why just limit it to dollar off coffee? Didn't you say it's a dollar off coffee?
No, it's $1.
$1.
$1 brewed 16-ounce coffee.
Oh, it's $1.
Only $1.
Brew, only $1.
Yeah.
Why not hammer like a frozen product or an energy drink or?
Yeah, so we do. On Tuesdays, we have happy hour.
Okay.
Of course. We got the 2 to 4
Yeah.
on Tuesdays, and that applies 50% off all drinks. So,
Okay.
yeah, anything.
Okay.
Anything,
All
any
right.
size.
Okay.
And we're quite busy on those days, too.
Okay, all right.
Between 80 to 90 cups are sold between 2 and 4.
From
which
that.
normally 2 to 4 is not a very busy
Right,
time because
right.
it's after the 12 o'clock and it's before the people are getting out of school, just slightly.
Yeah. Are you constantly tweaking the promotions? Yeah, it sounds like
always.
it.
Yeah, I'm always trying to see what works. I just ran one yesterday for this location, a buy one get one half off.
Okay.
Just first time, and I boosted it, and I think we had 20 some scans on that coupon, but I didn't boost it heavily.
Okay.
I only put I think like $10 on the boost, where normally I'll put 40 or 50 on it.
Okay.
If I want to hit it hard, I'll put $40 on it.
Okay.
And you'll see a return from that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I like how the reason why I'm going a little deep on this topic is, if you're starting the business or you're new in the business, just to hear that how much you're trying different things. You're in terms of marketing or promotion or discounting and then how you're doing it. And
Yeah.
I think that's what it takes. And over time, you do begin to learn what works and what doesn't work.
For sure.
But always trying new stuff is to me is
Oh,
the
yeah.
gold, is the magic.
Yeah. Find something that works, and then you stick with that, but then you keep looking for other things that work.
For the
right?
next thing
Yeah,
that's going to work.
Yeah.
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 What part of your business today is the biggest struggle?
I would say competition. Competition, because you're always trying to find a way to do things faster and better, and especially in this area, there's a lot of competition. And
What's closest to right here?
Tim Hortons down the street.
Yeah, it's probably important.
Yeah, there's 3 here.
Yeah.
We got everything here. In this city, there's everything.
Yeah.
Everything you can think of, except some of the newer ones that are coming through. Richmond, there's just Tim Hortons. There's nothing else. And likely, there won't be nothing else. There's no real estate available. I mean, look what I had to go through to put in a drive-thru.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's not an easy area to get something like that set up on Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just the competition.
What worries you the most about the competition?
Newer businesses. There's some new ones out there that are popping up.
Yeah.
They're popping up fast.
Yeah.
And they got modular concepts too. And I don't think I would be too worried about it here. We get the traffic volume here is 35,000 cars a day between the main road and the expressway behind us. So we got a lot of visibility here. Richmond, I would be more concerned because there's no specialty coffee shop like ours.
Right.
So if another specialty coffee shop came through, it would impact for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
For certainly it would
Yeah.
initially. until things level off, you know, and then I think it would come back.
Yeah.
But
Now that you've experienced, you know, the successful openings, your professional career, doing so much, how do you define success differently today than you may have like 25 or 30 years ago?
less stress.
Yeah.
You know, trying to find ways to do things as stress-free as possible. I mean, that to me is successful.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to, I'm much more proactive now than I used to be. I used to be more reactive. I didn't plan as well. To be successful, you got to plan well. If you plan well, it's not as stressful, you know.
Right.
You got to be able to make sure you're projecting financially and staff-wise appropriately. You know, you never know when you're going to lose somebody for one reason or another.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and when you do, you need to make sure you're covered so that it's not as stressful. And that's what, you know, I've done. I've done it at both locations. I've built teams that are reliable, and they all work really well together, and they're willing to back each other up. You know, even between the two locations,
That's
if something
amazing.
happens. And yeah, but trying to keep it as stress-free, and then it's just my outlook. You know, some things years ago that I would find very stressful, now I look at and I'm able to look at it differently so that it's not as stressful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, minor things, you know, I used to find stressful.
Sure.
You know. Now, as you get older, you know what's really important.
What matters.
What really matters, and
Yeah.
what really should be stressful, and what doesn't need to be stressful.
Right. Right. And then your favorite part of the business?
Oh, it's community and employees by
Yeah.
far,
Yeah.
right? I mean, without them, we're not here. We're not even open. We got to have them both. We got to have our community. We got to have our employees. We got to have Cisco. We got to have Cintas. We got to have a home office. You know,
Yeah.
we got to have our entire village. You know, to make this thing work, and it works well
Yeah.
because we have a good village of people to work with. Right? For sure.
We're I don't even know. I think I said 17 or 18 interviews in, and it's always the people.
Yeah.
It's always the favorite. And you know what I find interesting about that is you talk to business owners in other concepts or other worlds, and generally speaking, they're going to talk about people as the hardest part of business. In BIGGBY, we talk about people being our favorite part of the business.
Yeah.
Isn't that
for sure.
amazing?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
Most definitely.
What are you most grateful for?
The opportunity. You know, I grew up in this area, and I never expected. You know, I started working, you know, at a Pizza Hut. You know, I never knew, you know, what I would end up with. But I mean, I'm most grateful for my family, of course.
Of
right?
course.
That's above
Yeah.
and beyond.
Of course.
You've
You've got kids and grandkids, right?
Yeah.
How many grandkids?
4. Yeah. Two, a boy, girl, and then they each have a boy, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. But outside of the family perspective, from a business perspective, I'm just grateful that we have a strong name. You know, BIGGBY's a strong name that attracts people because they know they're getting a good quality drink.
Yeah.
You know, and we get people from all over that come through here and say, oh, you know, I'm from I'm from Michigan State, I'm from Grand Valley, I'm from here, I'm from there. And
Yeah.
we only go to BIGGBY, you know, and I'm like, well, you got
That's
one
nice
here now
to
too.
hear. Yeah.
You got one here.
What part of your experience, part of your story, did I not ask about that you think would be important to share to any franchisees, but newer franchisees, prospective franchisees? Is there anything that I've missed that you think would be nice to share with people?
From my perspective, what I think is important is to identify a location, which I don't know. I'm not very familiar with what everybody else does, but I think I've on occasion, there are people that get a franchise agreement but don't know where they're going to put it yet. Where I think the other way, I want to find the location. I want to know where I'm going to put it before I sign, you know.
Sure.
But that may not be right for everybody. But from my perspective, that's important. Because you wouldn't want to be pushed into a location that you're not really happy with, that you don't feel confident is going to be, you know, it's going to be successful.
Sure.
You know? So,
Sure. Sure. Yeah, there's different perspectives on that.
Yeah.
There's moments in time when franchise owners need to lock in market to
For one reason or another. Yeah.
and so there's a I mean, as anything, there's a lot of variables. Give me your 3 to 5 year plan in terms of growing the business and so on.
Well, I plan to my outlook has always been to open 5 stores.
Okay. All right. Hopefully, like tight to here, or
Yeah, I think Port Huron could use one more, either on the north end or the south end. But the real estate's just not there right now.
you'll find it, right?
Marysville, I'm looking to put one there. I actually signed a purchase agreement yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for a property.
Oh, cool.
But it's a unique layout. The property, the parking lot is. There's another business that shares that parking lot, even though it's not their property. So
You bought this yesterday?
no, another building.
Yeah, no. You bought another building.
I put in a purchase agreement yesterday, last night. I signed it. Yeah,
That
last
means
night.
you bought it.
Well, yeah, until you close.
I know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see.
Good.
So yeah, I talked to our area rep first. You know, I said, hey, there's nobody that's got a stake in the ground
Right,
in
right,
that area,
right,
right?
good.
And she said no. And I said,
Okay.
all right, well, so then I signed it. But there's contingencies. It's got to have city site plan review and
Sure.
approval. You know, you got to have
No, but
financing.
you're interested in moving forward. I mean, that's
Oh, yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
last night.
Yeah, last night.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So if that does happen, you know, we'll have a nice layout. We'll have Port Huron, Marysville, Richmond, and then beyond that, prospecting different areas
Sure.
that I know that don't have any yet. But I got to get past the next one before
Yeah.
I'm looking too far ahead. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's great. I didn't know that was in the books. That third one.
I didn't either. And it's a funny story. I put in an offer on that property 2 years ago, and he was
Isn't that amazing?
he was 100,000. I put in an offer 100,000 less than what he was asking, and the realtor reached out to me last week. She's like, "You're not going to believe this. He's down to what you initially offered 2 years ago." I said, "Well, yeah, it's because that's what it's worth."
Right.
So I was like, "Well, you know, let me look into it a little bit," and I did. And I said, "All right, let's put in an offer." But it's heavily contingent on the city approval because it is a weird layout. It'll work. It's just it's got to have certain. It's got to have certain curbing to separate the two parking lots, and let's see what the city says. you
Sure.
know. So I got Ben Novosel
Yeah.
already working on a site
Oh,
plan.
good.
Yeah.
But you now have 2 buildings. You can show them, right, as examples of your work, and
Yeah.
and I think that'll put them at ease to some degree, hopefully.
Yeah, well, they actually solicited me. Marysville, the city manager, had solicited me when I opened Richmond. He called me about 2 weeks after we opened, and he's retired now. But you know, he was trying to show me different properties in the area, and I'm like, I'm already very familiar with Marysville. I've been prospecting Marysville for about a year. You know, I said I know all the properties that are available there, and I explained to him like I was trying to get this one building. His price is inflated, beyond way beyond what it's worth, and he's since retired, and now it's come back around. That same building's come back around. It's amazing, and it's 2 doors down from the Tim Hortons.
You're just going toe to toe.
Across the street, I'm 2 doors down.
Slugfest, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever,
This has been great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah, sorry about having to reschedule too. It was
No, I
much
get
more.
it.
It was a much more enjoyable trip over here
Oh,
today.
I'm sure. I get
I
it.
felt bad, man. I felt terrible.
No, you're fine. We're here. We're here anyway.